Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's the Cryptid Huntress. My apologies for being a couple minutes late today. I'm still doing research backstage, y'all, right before the show starts. And today we have another fantastic show for you guys. We're going to be looking into the Waheela today. And that is a pretty terrifying cryptid out of Canada, the Nahanni Valley, which is also known as the Valley of the Headless Men. Oh, y'all, it's going to be a good one today. They're always good ones in my book. Okay. But yeah, we're going to get into the Waheela today. We're actually going to also get into the connections to the dire wolf and maybe even werehyenas as well, shapeshifters and all that. It's going to be quite the information for you guys today. And I do have my good friend Barry here with me today. And Barry Littleton has done some pretty extensive research on the Waheela. And I believe he dropped a link down in the chat before the show started today to a video, a fast blast video, we call those, that he did. And so, yeah, we're going to get into all that today. Some people do believe that these Waheelas are responsible for decapitating humans in the Nahanni Valley, okay, and in Alaska and all over the northern United States as well. Okay, so buckle up, buttercups. This one's going to be a wild ride today. And if you would like to go check out the Cryptid Huntress, please go over to my website, thecryptidhuntress.com. And you can find my shows there. My calendar of events, I do have some fantastic events coming up. If you guys want to see me, by the way, in October, we are having the Cornwallis Bigfoot Town Hall down in Alabama, and they are looking for vendors. If any of you guys are vendors, I believe it's free for vendors, y'all, and there's going to be a big crowd there. So please go contact Scott and Sheila Granger, okay? And that information's on my social media right now. Y'all can get in touch with me if you want more information with that, or contact Sheila and Scott with Squatch Fishing Outfitters, okay? It'd be a great opportunity for anybody who is a vendor with Bigfoot stuff or whatever. Okay. All right. But anyways, that's all on my website. Also, I do have a Patreon and I have an Etsy shop as well. It's called War Woman Goods, if y'all want to check that out. Thank you so much for all your support, y'all. Okay. Well, let's get into our show today. We got Barry backstage, and we have a lot of info to share with y'all. Okay, so today we are discussing the Waheela, a colossal wolf-like creature of massive strength and size. It's known as the guardian of the Nahanni Valley in the Northwest Territories of Canada. It has a body like a grizzly bear, and it's an apex predator capable of dominating even the most feared entities like the Wendigo. And it originates from the Native Sioux tribe. Waheela sightings have been reported in northern Canada, Michigan, Alaska, and Montana. As a protector of the Nahanni Valley and National Park in Canada, the Waheela is the subject of numerous terrifying stories, including the decapitation of people walking through the area. This towering white creature has piercing blue eyes and a supernatural presence. Many believe it is an interdimensional entity, and it's a culprit for missing hikers in those areas where it resides. And we're going to get into the truth, the facts, the, I don't know, suggestions of what this thing is. And of course, I do have Barry Littleton here with me today. You guys can find him over on his YouTube channel. It's called Barry Littleton. And here we go. Please help me welcome to the show, Barry Littleton. Hey, Barry.
What's up? What's happening? Thank you for having me, Jessica. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you for being here.
Greetings to your audience too.
Oh man, this is no coincidence, Barry. I was like, man, last night I decided I wanted to cover the Waheela. Started doing some deep diving on it yesterday, and then you told me, you're like, it's like, hey, you want to come on the show with me? And you're like, well, I was actually going to give you this as a remote viewing target, right?
I'm going to tell you how serious it is.
Okay.
I debated a lot on Friday whether to ask you if you would do CERN and John Teeter, or if I was to give that as a blind target, or the Waheela. And then last week I had hit you about I was a little bit late. I was like, do you have a target yet? But you already did for that show. That was this last week. That was going to be the Waheela.
Man.
And then the week before that we did a show, and that was going to be the Waheela too, and I chose something over that. And Spirit been pushing me to give it to you a lot. And it's fascinating. It really is. I mean, there are no coincidences in that way. And when you mentioned that today, I was like, damn, I guess it's a little bit a day, as my mama would used to say, a day late and a dollar short. But hey, that's all right. It's still there. And some things about this, a few things I've heard you already mention about it are quite different than what I've heard about it. I've heard different accounts, but I first heard about this when I was much younger in college from Dr. Shaw. He was a Native American professor at my college, and he talked about cryptids sometimes, and one of them he talked about was spiritually for his culture, and one of them was the Waheela. And the way he described it is different than what I see sometimes. The monster thing now, it is this murdering thing. He had described it, and I heard others as a spirit, the spirit of the wolf also, and it being about something that was about the size, about the size of a horse.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, and it when he described it, Jessica, it very much reminded me of a movie that I thought was kind of cool when I was a kid. It was called Wolfen, and it starred this dude named Albert Finney. He's also the cat that starred in the movie Looker. And I like Looker because Looker dealt with a gun that had an optical flash to make missing time. That was a killer movie. And they also showed digital twins in that movie also. And that was a good one. Looker. It's about maybe a little earlier, 1982, that one maybe. But anyway, Wolfen was about that. It was about these wolves that would come into the city and they were causing big problems, but they were the spirit of the wolf, actually. It's quite interesting, weird 80s movie. But anyway, that's kind of think where this goes, in dealing with some of this. And also, for what it's worth, you being somebody been out in the wilderness a lot,
mm-hmm.
how much of what we experience are projections from Earth herself,
mm-hmm.
from the past? And we'll go through maybe a couple of creatures that would affect us that's in the fossil record also.
Ooh, that's a good point. I mean, I've oftentimes questioned in the moment when we're getting ambushed by stuff out in the woods and, creatures and things that are very threatening to us. And that doesn't happen very often. Okay. I don't feel super threatened that often out there. But when I have sat there and gone down the list in my head of like, what could this be? Because there's just such a supernatural element to some of the creatures out there. Like that time I was at the LBL and we got ambushed at 2 a.m. by unseen creatures out there. We couldn't see them. They were 10 to 15 feet in front of us. I'm going through my checklist of Bigfoot, interdimensional Bigfoot, out of the light spectrum Bigfoot, Dogman. Is this a simulation? I even went through my head. Is this, are these paramilitary in cloaking outfits? Like, what is going on? And it literally lasted for over an hour. And I was thinking ghosts of the Native Americans out there, or the ghost of the people buried in all those cemeteries that got ran off the land. Barry, it could be anything.
Yeah, that's very serious. Considering that us ourselves on the psychic level, on the living level, have poltergeists that we create. Okay, especially if you met somebody, some people that are in haunted areas, it's them. It's their own poltergeist doing it, and phantom projections and things like that. It's insane to think that advanced living organisms such as the Earth would not also project certain things that are going to be poltergeist projections from the past. That's what phantoms. That's why I kind of put that up there. That's something in the fossil record that used to walk Earth. People can look it up, and it's supposed to be a type of a giant wolf. That thing right there. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that word, man. But still worth looking up, man. That's getting more to Waheela's supposed size. But I heard, like, from Dr. Shaw and others, that they're a little Gale, that's even bigger than that they're the size of horses often when encountered, and they're like, deep in the forest. So I don't know. But when looking up for certain creatures, we have a few that we can just start investigating. You know what I mean? So such things have walked on Earth before. So whether they still exist or are part of this whatever Chimera project, or their projections of the Earth itself, like we just mentioned, it's all worthy. There it is, food for thought.
Oh yeah. I mean, these things are gigantic, and now, of course, we've got some representations of what they look like. I know this is AI, y'all. Okay, and but this is I was trying to get a good idea of kind of what they look like, because in some ways they're described as only being like a wolf on four legs.
Yeah.
Giant wolf. But there are other accounts of them where they are actually more like a Dogman, like a werewolf.
See, don't you think that's something that's I think that's something that's been twisted now and interjected with the Dogman phase. I mean, honestly, because I never heard that before. I never heard them being called werewolf type creatures. I will still explore that, but I'm just saying, I think in some ways it disrespects some of what the Native Americans were saying concerning these creatures. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm just saying. So anyway, go ahead. Please do. Let's go to the monster part. That sells better than spirit wolves, aka ghost wolves. Waheela's technically a ghost wolf, in my opinion. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, they're shapeshifters. Okay, and so it's almost like in some of the accounts, it's almost like they could pretty much be anything. Okay, and I think that maybe that's where this is originating from, is them being shapeshifters. Okay, and in some cases they were on two legs. Okay, in some cases, of course. Now this is interesting because I have briefly touched on the Valley of the Headless Men a couple years ago. I did a show, and we talked about the Valley of the Headless Men. Now there's a lot of different avenues and culprits to why, not a lot, there's a couple of why all these headless skeletons have been found in this area, in the Nahanni Valley. This is up in Canada. I think it's in the northwest side of Canada, and I guess it's south of Alaska. These things are found in Alaska too, by the way. But a lot of people blame the Waheela for these headless skeletons. Of course, there's other people that say that it's actually, from Native American or Native indigenous wars and fighting and disputes, and they were decapitated through those wars. Okay, and so, but it's enough to scare the people that are going hiking up there and that live up in that area to not go in the woods at night. Okay. It's also kind of one of those tales of the lumberjacks. Good Lord. I have gotten more cryptids and creatures, like a list of them that were talked about by lumberjacks. The lumberjacks feared. This is one of them right here, Barry. Gold prospectors and lumberjacks both feared this creature right here. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. So folklore from the Dene. Okay, First Nations people, they regard the Waheela as supernatural, Barry. Okay, supernatural. An evil spirit that will decapitate people that walk through the woods. And that's where they get the Valley of the Headless Men. Okay, that's what some accounts say. And but a lot of people do believe this is a remnant. It's actually a real animal, and it's a remnant of the dire wolf, a bear dog, or a hyena. Okay, and my goodness, it sounds much like my description. Okay, like what I saw that night, where I believe I did see two dogmen, okay, in Alabama, and the way I described them was a hyena, like an African dog that looks of like, well, I said a panther, it looked like a panther, but a bear, a dog and a bear was like, looked like the color of a panther. Kind of. Isn't that wild? But these are way more bulky and way bigger. Okay, way more bulky, way bigger. I'm going to take that down. When you look these up online, this is the general piece of art that you see. It does not look like a werewolf. Okay, it just looks like a biscuit.
No.
Yeah,
unless you go to the original Wolfman. The original Wolfman, the one that bit Lon Chaney Jr., it looked about like that, and maybe even a little less. It looked kind of like just a German Shepherd. They hit it with the silver stick, Anyway.
yeah. Well, okay, so these things have been, like I said, I think I mentioned this earlier, they are associated with the missing prospectors. Okay, gold. This, I wonder how far this is. I'm always wondering. I didn't look it up on a map, but the stories of, what was that fella's name that got kidnapped in his sleeping bag by the Bigfoot? Do you remember that one?
Oh no, not the snuff, not that story. The snuff.
Yeah. Yes, that one. That was up there in this area. I think that was in British Columbia. Yeah. But yeah, and honestly, actually, wasn't it Washington where Ape Canyon was around like 1920s, 1924? I think both of those accounts have this. Albert Osman was that guy's name. Was the kidnapped man. They said that the Bigfoots wanted him to mate with the daughter.
That's what it's turned into now. He was there for mating, and he got lucky. He just happened to have some snuff.
Stuff happens, baby.
Sorry, I can't help it. I try to be like, I have people are really mad at me over that story. When I first came into the quote unquote Bigfoot community, I got upset. A lot of people, they got really mad. They told me that was a legendary deal and I shouldn't be laughing at it. And okay, sorry. I mean, just the way it's described, I read that, his whole story, man. I mean, the way he's sitting there and he's been drug off and this thing was walking him through kind of the Hulk walk back to the cave, and then when he gets there, they're all watching him, man, and giving him some berries every now and again or whatever. And then he just happens to give the alpha male some snuff. And he gets so choked out that the cat runs out and outruns Bigfoot in the wilderness, okay? Yeah, that's what that is. That's a ridiculous story. Anyway, sorry. Can't help it.
Well, I do just to do a little opposite of that, to be the devil's advocate. He did stand by that story until his final days, and it ruined his life for the most part. I mean, he was ostracized and all that because of that. So.
I mean, I'm gonna ask you, was it maybe Big League Chew?
There's no telling.
Or is that gum? I'm sorry, is that gum? That's gum. I'm sorry, never mind. Sorry.
Well, okay, so there's just a lot of unexplored wilderness out there. There was at the time, and that's why these gold prospectors and stuff were getting. They're definitely going to be getting attacked more than the average human, right? Out in the wilderness, and it's not just by bears and wolves. It's by these supernatural creatures as well. Okay, it's by all sorts of stuff.
That's kind of how the whole California thing really started, was the lumberjacks, right?
Yeah.
And their stuff getting turned over, their machinery and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with the Patterson Gimlin Bigfoot. Yeah. Well, and if you think about it too, in Alaska with the Portlock, Alaska case, where the humans came in and set up a cannery, and they were taking all the salmon out of that area, all the natural resources, right? And so the Bigfoots were out there. They got mad. They decided to retaliate and take back their land and stuff, and rip. And they were actually out there ripping people's heads off. They actually were. Makes you wonder, what if the Nahanni Valley, maybe Bigfoots are known to pop off a head of a human. Maybe it's not the Waheela that was doing it. Maybe there were some cases of Bigfoots doing that to people who stumbled into the
when you start dealing with a war, a true war, and that is a territorial war by all means.
Mhm.
You know, wow, yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I'm glad to hear that at least being mentioned. It's a time that even mentioning that type of stuff was to get kind of ostracized just talking about that. The fact that some of these Sasquatch are extremely aggressive, though, you got to be careful. And the fact is, if they really run the gamut like us, easy to run into a rogue one out there, or one that just doesn't give a damn.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah. 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 Well, the common theme that I'm finding, like the remote viewing targets I've been given over the years, I mean, I feel like I've literally covered almost every historical case of Bigfoot, kidnappings and attacks and all that. I really have. I'm like, man, there's been a lot, but I feel like I've covered all of them.
have you ever viewed those?
Yes. Remote viewed the Albert Osman case and the Ape Canyon case. I don't remember all the data, but I did. I did show
So
them.
do you believe those were actually real? Both those accounts?
You know what? I don't know if I would have done a show on them if the data had come back inconclusive on that. So I honestly do believe they happen. I personally do. Okay. And now maybe it didn't always happen the way they say or whatever, but I mean, I do believe some of that stuff happened. Yeah, why not?
Did you get snuff in the data?
Snuff. I doubt it.
I'm serious. Did you?
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to go back and look. It's in my Patreon and it's in my playlist, y'all. If anybody wants to go back and watch those. Like I said, I've been doing this for how many years now? 5 years. And I don't remember the data for stuff I did last week. Okay. But anyways.
See, that's a trip. I obsess about all that stuff. All the ones we've done, I obsess about all the data on all of it. Yeah, it's a little sick probably, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, and this is the thing too. Internet says Bob Gimlin also had his life, messed up, and that's the thing about some of these more well-known cases, even, and the ones that made the news. The newspaper went out and interviewed Albert Osman, and there's newspaper clippings. The men from Ape Canyon were also interviewed in magazines and newspapers and stuff, and
they got dogged pretty hard.
They got dogged out, so to speak, all of them. And so it makes you wonder, especially back in those days, even today, there's people that will not come forward with their cryptid encounters because of the scrutiny that they get in the media and in their communities and with their families. And so why else would they do that unless they had some kind of, they were mentally, had something going on, like I would just want my life to be crazy,
Makes you appreciate someone like Ron Moorhead,
Mm-hmm. Yes, very level-headed man. I love me some Ron Moorhead. He's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Very cool dude.
Never met him, but he does good work.
Yeah.
He's been kind of steady, throughout all these decades now. So that's cool.
He has. He's very credible, and he's got some great evidence. Okay, and now with the Waheela, I don't think there's a ton of evidence of these things. I'm just saying there's footprints that have been found. Some of the reports are actually that there are footprints, just like with the Bigfoot. There's footprints that the tracks that people will follow, and then they disappear into thin air, just like Bigfoot. And
here's the thing, Jessica. Like going back to I'm sorry, just I'll talk a little bit more what I'm more familiar with, which is them in the wolf presentation and that. But it's all the stuff I used to read was about them being bulletproof. And that came up a lot in the accounts that I had read. And that makes me think that it takes it back to what you and I talked about the other day, about with some Sasquatch being actually in the dream body and things like that. But is it possible that they are actually, dimensionally, that they're more in terms that they are spirits, but projection of the earth to like that connection there. You know what I mean? It really makes me wonder. And that's because I don't know that, they wouldn't be able to access the dream body cognitively the same as a Sasquatch would, which is the way a human would be able to do it too, on that level. But for the like I said, for the spirit part of it, and how much of that is the spirit that is manifesting around it, kind of like what they're trying to show in Wolfen, I think is really worthy when it's things like the bulletproof thing keeps coming up. What part is that? And I mean, all stuff I would always read that the bullets were said to bounce off them, not just go into them and not stop them, but bounce off them.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds superhuman. Okay. And man, I don't know, somewhere where I was reading something, it almost sounded like, I hate to keep bringing this up. I really do, because I don't want this to be true ever. But cyborg, I know that's freaking weird. I keep bringing up cyborgs. I'm sorry, y'all.
Why is that weird?
But cyborg, to me, it is, because it's just something that I had never even thought about before. But like the past year or so, I'm convinced that some of these creatures are cyborgs. I really am.
And what is it when we talked about the digital twins? I know people don't like that, but they're downloading conscious memories into these things. Okay. And right now, really, you type in not just digital twin, but type in digital twin cyborg and see what comes up. The people need to read that. You know, I mean, then start reading about the types of way they have to actually transfer conscious memories into these things. And the fact that a lot of us are having weird dreams right now. I just had some myself. You know what I mean? So there's weird stuff going on right now. And it was a dream about AI rewriting the narrative of people's contact experience. It was bizarre. And I kept kind of coming out of it and going back into it. I don't dream like that. You know what I mean? And we just got through having a show that probably is less than popular with some, I'd imagine. So, I mean, and it's not really a joke in that way. I don't want to, I'm trying to mess with no dream engineered technology right now. Leave me alone. But that's kind of what, I think where we're at right now with frequency bombardment and all that. What's that thing?
Okay. Well, absolutely. I just looked up digital twin in case you guys want to go check digital twins out. Okay.
Yeah. If you put cyborg on the end of it, digital twin cyborg, you get a lot more detailed stuff.
Yeah, I did I put digital twin cyborg, but definitely y'all look that up.
Yeah. That is and it takes you really into connecting neuroprogramming into the programming of these digital twins and all that, and that model, and just even what's transparent is creepy as heck, let alone what they're doing behind closed doors.
Exactly.
I'm in a firm belief that that's the 21 and back you're looking at right there. That's for those twins, so they can be enslaved and they can make places like you saw in Trappist 1. What are the mid-rises? Yeah.
Slavery. Yeah. Well, we were talking on Monday about, I was talking about my weird dream that I had. My dreams have come back, and I made a mistake of talking about dreams, okay? Because I know that we start talking about this stuff, we start getting targeted, okay? And I am fully aware of it, okay? So I got to be more careful about what we talk about, I think. But anyways,
you've been getting hit a lot. I mean, let's just keep it real. So you're getting hit like that, but also you're getting hit in another way. They're trying to drop your numbers, shadow ban you for real. See, like I got shadow banned, and it's not just a joke for us, okay? Like you go back and look at the videos I put out 5, 6, 7 years ago. They were getting like 10, 15,000 views, 8,000 minimum. And I just don't really care or pay attention to that, but it would like light up. The analytics would light up all over the world. I was shocked. Like some people didn't think even made ducked English. Then all of a sudden my numbers went down to like, boom, 1,000, then 500, then 3. You can look at my numbers and see it. Okay, but you got these other people saying, oh, let me put this on here before YouTube takes it down, doing all this and making all these things. They're saying they're shadow banned, but their numbers are skyrocketing. It's a bunch of crap. They're doing that themselves. They're taking that stuff down. Come on. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's like that's another way you're being targeted because those forces want you to stop what you're doing. And they know as long as they can make it not fun for you, you'll stop. And they're trying to make it not fun. And that's what it is, Honestly. Okay. So you're being targeted in 2 ways.
Yeah. Well,
fight the power. Public enemy fights the power.
It is what it is, right? But anyways, it's I forgot what I was saying now. But
about Waheela, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, okay, so about my dream that I had. Getting like targeted and stuff. I did have a weird dream, and it was like a Bigfoot cyborg. Okay. And I am having dreams like that now, which are really weird. Okay. And so it's like in my mind, it's almost like I'm being kind of urged to talk about this more, I think. And in my dream, it was like a Bigfoot, but it had a metal mouth, and it was trying to eat people, and it couldn't control its mouth. It was like being controlled. It's
red
mouth.
eyes?
Oh yeah, I was a total cyborg. Yeah. So it was weird. But anyways, I have oftentimes wondered while I'm out in the field doing my field research, in the woods at night in the dark, no flashlights or nothing. I'm sitting there surrounded by Bigfoot, just whatever's out there. I don't know, whatever's out there. And I'm thinking to myself, like, are these holograms? Okay, like gosh, I don't know. I've just been in several different situations where things show up. Let's talk about like portals opening and stuff. It's not a normal portal, what you think. You know what I mean? Like I know one of my teams, the portal was like more like an apparition. Okay, it was more like
Like a what?
it was a cube, and the way David described it is like an apparition, more like. Now, did the environment change when the guys checked it out? Yes. The environment changed when they walked up to it. They disappeared, but it was more like an apparition that showed up of like a building or a cube, right? Now, what I'm thinking, like some of the, like one of the instances of a portal that showed up out in the field, it was actually like a red neon grid suspended in the air, and like creatures were coming out of it. Okay, and that really happened. And I had to think
So
from
you're saying a grid like a tic-tac-toe board, something like that?
From the 1980s, like synth wave grid, if you know what I'm talking about, like a red, like a neon grid, like something from Stranger Things. Stranger Things actually kind of shows this kind of stuff, and we've actually experienced.
I need to watch it. I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, well, they don't show a portal like that, but that's part of their promo stuff. Is like Stranger Things. It's like a red kind of grid, kind of I think, and some of their promos, and I'm like, man, that's like the portal right there. But
That's
see,
interesting. So,
I've done that for a long time, Barry. This is something I've never really, I don't talk about often. We'll talk about a portal that opened. I don't describe what it was actually. Okay. And it was actually that, which makes me think, like, why would it be like a red grid pattern? And is this a computer simulation? Like a hologram?
only thing I can.
Is it a hologram? Like Rose Thistle Arc says.
You remember the Ore Station?
Mm-hmm.
In Mount Adams?
Yes.
Okay, when I had done that blasted, like I told you, Skywatch, all the presenters had to do a CE5 Skywatch or whatever, and that to me doesn't appeal to me really, but I decided to do a pineal gland exercise before we went out there. And it was just so I could get the drop, because I could see how these celebrities were using how many ships show up after you do CE5. So if you're a badass contactee, you get a bunch of ships. Otherwise, you're just not that good, So I said, well, I'll get the drop by having everybody do the exercise for pineal gland, And then we get done, though. You have so many psychics and mediums in the, as attendees at those events. It's not the people speaking; it's the attendees. And a lot of them, a lot of these probably got 70 people, 60 people in there, I don't know. But we get done, there's like several of them going, I'm seeing this grid. I'm seeing this grid. And, during my regression, before I went to that place the second time, I had seen that grid and I've seen that device. And what that grid does there is they described it looking like a tic-tac-toe board, but a big one, wide. Yeah. And that it was, it's scanning people's life memories, and then that device dispatches an orb that gets in your biofield and changes your perception, pushes your consciousness forward. Same thing we've been talking about. I don't think they're type 3 spears from the Spear Network. Interesting how people are suddenly talking about that had no knowledge of that till you and I talked about it. But anyway, we won't even go there. I got irritated myself. But anyway, this is a different type of phenomenon, though. And I believe what that thing is especially doing is that Ord Station does things to push people's consciousness forward. And let me see.
That's interesting that you said that. Okay, and y'all, we're connecting all this to the Waheela, okay, y'all, because we're trying to figure out, is this like a hologram? Is this thing even real? Like, what is cyborg, whatever? Now, I did want to say, like, in one of the cases where I had missing time out in the field, it was where I'd had cloak Bigfoot, something ran up behind me and like knocked my legs out from underneath me when I was being Bigfoot bait. Okay. And next day, we went out and we sat there. My buddy and I sat out from 3:00 in the afternoon to like 1 o'clock that night. And we basically got accosted by a craft. Oh, look, an orb. And after RVing this, before I learned it, but some of the guys on the team RV'd that, remote viewed it, and it was a craft. And what happened was it put both of us to sleep. We were both knocked out when this thing came over us. And in holograms, it scanned us and holograms popped out over our heads. Okay, so I don't know if that's what you're talking about. It may be totally different, but it scanned who we are and like why we're here and all this kind of weird stuff. And it ended up leaving us alone. It flew back off and we woke back up.
Well, one is it turns you off. Number one, that.
That's right.
It turns you, and that's really what these beings and these devices do. They turn people off, turn them on and turn them off. It's really disconcerting in that way, even in a way that's like deep hypnosis ways, but it's different. It's external. You know what I mean? But by the same token, also when we're dealing with that concept of beings that are using like the black hole as their power source itself, okay, and dealing with that quantum hologram thing, a lot of them are actually interacting with us. So again, we go through this all the time, but the pin goes through here. There's a perfect copy on the surface of the wormhole, the black hole, whatever that is, actually called the quantum hologram. And that quantum hologram is stored by the Mako, the magnetospheric eternally collecting object itself, is the mechanism inside the black hole that holds the information. Okay. And that wraps around it. The way that really what we're talking about is the Akashic records, really. Okay. So beings that no longer even exist, maybe in our third dimensional time or as a civilization anymore, still exist within the Mako. And since the Makos are conscious waves that are spherical, okay, and helical but spherical, and we've got the microtubules of the body and the brain that are spherical, we can access the Makos and the Akashic records through our brain waves, which is the speed of thought, which is instant when dealing with those objects that are way out there. Okay. It's very important. You get civilizations that are way ahead of us on this as far as technology. But like I said, a lot of them might not exist anymore, but they can still interact with you through the brain waves. And that can become just as physical and I think as reality as we have here. You know what I mean? So it's food for thought. Whether it be so in that way, even when you had your encounter with the mantis, that could also have been a holographic projection of something from the Mako, from the everyone calls it Akashic records, but no one tells you what it is. Okay, so anyway, that's records of space and time. Yeah, it's the hard drives of the universe, the Makos, the black holes. And since they're black holes even attached to our individual cells, it throws a whole nother equation in there, yo.
Oh wow. Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, it sounds like something out of Star Wars. It's like the hologram showing up of Yoda or something. Like that's what it sounds like.
Well, when talking about those beings, quote unquote, the melanated beings that are capable of teleporting themselves and other species that can do it just through actually harnessing those black holes within the body. And you do that through activating you through the same way you would be able to activate the dream body and change, quote unquote, on our luminous cocoon, our assemblage point. That assemblage point is this black spot that's on the luminous cocoon of people. I didn't know what I was seeing when I was younger. I thought I wasn't seeing because I wasn't seeing the colors like you see in these books, but I would see people's the luminous biofield of people that go sometimes 10 feet outside their body. But in the middle of it was this black spot. I didn't know what it was. It's called the assemblage point. And since the universe actually flows from the creator outwards, the filaments, right now that's being proven universally, okay? Like ebb flow, web flow, sorry, was it what they call it? Quantum flow is what it is now or something like that. Anyway, point being that those filaments pass through our luminous cocoon, okay? And as we're beings of perception, that assemblage point, that Mako is the filaments that flow through that is the world that we assemble, okay? and it stays on a certain point on our luminous. Think about the biofield. It stays at a certain point for most of us. If it moves just a little bit, which is about right here, if it moves just a little bit, then other filaments of the universe flow through and we assemble another world perceptually. It's a big deal. When you look at, we're really beings as we're, you know what Yoda told Luke in Star Wars and in Return of the Jedi? He said, the Force binds us all, makes us stronger, yada, yada. It makes it, life makes it grow. He's like, we're luminous beings, not this crude matter. When you start dealing with us as luminous beings, it's those luminous cocoons that we are. How much of our biofield goes outside of our body? How much of just the micro cloud we leave behind us when we're in a room? That's terminal to some life forms. Anyway, point being, though, when dealing with points of perception, and the black holes we're talking about, the Makos and the quantum hologram, it goes into that also, okay? It's not the separate things people are trying to make it. These are things about us that we're much more than what we think we are. And when you sleep, your assemblage point moves anyway. You know what I mean? That you're assembling different worlds all the time when you sleep. So food for thought for people, you know. I've done videos on this stuff. Go on my channel, type in assemblage point, all sorts of stuff will come up.
Yeah. That's really interesting. Well, you know, we're trying to get to the, I guess, what mechanics of like shape-shifting animals and people and all that kind of stuff. So we're just dissecting it with this, right, Barry?
True shape-shifting, and I can't speak, totally on the animal level, but for the cognitive people, humans or beings, more cognitive beings, for us, it is, like I said, putting that full perception, cognitive ability with dream attention into the dream body. And then once you do that, you can start manifesting that, not quite as corporeal as this body, but you can start manifesting it here third dimensionally. And at that point, that body has no, it doesn't conform to the physical laws of this body. Gravity, structure, these things are not the same, and so it's when you deal with that, and that's a large portion, makes us inorganic at that point, and I think that's, really worthy in terms of what are we dealing with. So if you want to shapeshift, when you're in that body and you can focus your intent of will, which truly comes through your imagination, if you think about it, that's how imagination is how we trigger the intent of will. And that's what they use to mold the dream body into, whether it be wolf or anything. People say, those that remember what Castaneda said when he ate that peyote, I think it was, and he turned into this crow. He's tripped out on this crow, but his perception had got so keen on this crow that his dream body morphed. But he don't realize he's even perceiving out of the dream body. See what I'm saying? He was still in training. Anyway, food for thought. I'm sorry, I don't want to get too far away, but when dealing with Waheela and shapeshifters, that would be the connection for me there.
Oh, yeah.
Some weird way that took like 1 million freaking years to explain.
Just went around about, but it's so good. I love getting to the meat and potatoes, getting to the dissection of this, and like kind of, just kind of tear it apart so we can kind of put it back together. And then that's how we do things, right? And so let's get into a couple of actual encounters with this thing. Okay, with the Waheela, what was thought of as a Waheela. Back in the 1960s, there was a man named Frank Graves. Frank Graves. Mm-hmm. He was exploring the Nahanni Valley. He witnessed a large white wolf. Okay. Yeah. He didn't say a wolf. He said a wolf-like creature. Now, that's how this actually works a lot of times. Is like people are not saying they're seeing a wolf. They're seeing something that looks like a wolf, but it ain't no wolf. Okay. And he said that it was larger than any timber wolf that he had ever seen. He shot it twice. Now, I think Don in the chat said 3 times, but it says in this article 2 times. Nonetheless, he shot this thing. He said it was completely unbothered by the shots. What is that called? Very impervious?
Impervious to the bullets. Yeah.
It was impervious. So, okay. And so that was one of the main accounts that I could find of an encounter with the Waheela. The other accounts are like truckers that are driving. I think is the Yukon out that way? I'm assuming that's the Yukon. I don't know. But they're driving down the road and they're saying they're seeing these massive white shapes run across the road. And they say that they're moving too quick to be bears. They're too massive to be a wolf. So they're just assuming these are the Waheelas. They can't really tell. It looks like a polar bear, basically, but more or less like the size of a polar bear or a grizzly bear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Grizzly bears are huge, Barry. It says that hikers often report hearing like low grumbling growls and stuff. In my book, that could be anything, though. Okay, so I mean that doesn't mean that's a Waheela, right? But they say that, like I said, their paw prints actually, when people are tracking them, their paw prints just disappear into thin air, just like Bigfoots do, and without a trace. And they say that if you feel like you're being hunted by a Waheela, it's already too late. You're dead meat. Okay, you're going to be dead meat. It's going to get you, but I don't know how anybody would know that, because in that case, people wouldn't make it anyway. So how would you know? But also, it's also been theorized that they're interdimensional beings, Barry. And of course, I always pose the question: what in the heck does interdimensional mean? Okay, are they? I think that they could be accessing portals. They could be in the dream body, like you said. There's a whole lot of different things that can be going on here, right?
Well, for them, interdimensional. I mean, I think that it comes that what are they when they're unmanifested? Then, what is Sasquatch when they're unmanifested? When they're not in this dimension? Are there other dimensions like this one? People don't know. That's just a word that's thrown around. Think about it. You know what I mean? But I think we're dealing with consciousness too. And a lot of that's not being, I can hear so many of these reports are really just demonizing this cryptid. And it's weird because that's not the way it was explained to me. But that's been before social media took over and stuff. It's interesting though. Doesn't mean it's not true, but it's just a totally different take on it. Like Sunday's kind of been thrown in, like the whole Dogman has been demonized, I think, to a degree too, which it may be. I don't know. You know what I mean? But it's just different in terms of what I'm hearing about this. It's a trickster. It's a murderer. I don't know. Wow. But as far as Dr. Shaw, he had said also that sometimes the Waheela were quote unquote shamans or skinwalkers, I guess people could say. But he said some of them were shamans, that they had the ability of shape-shifting. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, he didn't go into the stuff I was talking about earlier. He was a professor, but he just talked about that, the shape-shifting factor of what Waheela probably was and often. And that way they were very revered, he said. He was also like, I think he was Lakota. They Lakota, which is Sioux, quote unquote, right?
Yes.
Lakota, I think, is a respectful term. Yeah.
Okay, well, speaking of the shape-shifting, almost like in a skinwalker sense, right? In a way, too. They're talking about, one of the articles that I was reading said they're actually shape-shifting mammals, is the way they describe it. Shape-shifting mammals that can transform into 12-foot tall bear dog hybrids. Bear dog? What the heck? Bear dog. Okay, well, let's look. Okay. Let's see if I've got some of pictures to pull up.
Oh,
there, the series. Okay.
No, I was just laughing at that comment, but go ahead.
I mean, here, I'll pull this up right here. That is the sign. I mean, I know this is AI, okay, but that was more like a werewolf that's just super tanked, like jacked up, right? Let's see. Like I said, this is the picture that mostly comes up. That looks more like. Yeah, hold on.
Have you ever seen a dire wolf?
No, not in person. Absolutely not.
They're really, really big. They're big. They're much bigger than any, a dog, German Shepherd, anything like that. They're huge. They're very big.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to wonder, like how many times real dire wolves could be mistaken for quote unquote Waheela, especially from the distance, Yeah.
Oh yeah, this may be the wrong one. Hold on, I had to. Oh, you know what? I got rid of that page that I had up here. I searched for something and now I don't have it anymore. Ooh, these are kind of scary. This is from doing a search on like DuckDuckGo. I think I pulled up some pictures and now I don't have them up here anymore. Look at that. That's creepy. Look at all those teeth. That does not look fun. Here we go. Maybe this is kind of, that looks more like a boar or something. That looks like a mix between a hyena and something else. That, you know, and that's actually one of the things that people believe this could be some sort of a hyena berry as well, like a bear dog. Bear dogs are actually, that's actually a thing. There used to be bear dogs. Hold on, I've got it in my notes there somewhere.
But they don't look like wolves.
They don't. They don't. Hold on, I had it pulled up. Now I can't find it. I may have to take this off the screen and then go back and look.
They kind of look like badgers to me. Kinda. I think if my mind's serving me correct, could be wrong.
Okay, I'm gonna find this. Okay, just give me. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I found them. All right, let me pull this back up. I just get too many things going on in my head, and I can't keep everything organized. Barry, between my mind and then the 3D, everything is just kind of weird. Okay, here's a bear dog right here. I mean, that's crazy. That does not look like a dog at all to me. Okay, except for
that looks more like the other thing you talk about sometimes. What is it?
The zombie bear?
Yeah.
Man.
Potentially with little genetic mutations, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what? How weird would that be if someone actually they were doing this? Like, you know, we talk about the gene splicing. We talk about Earth being a laboratory. We talk about chimeras, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we don't know what kind of experimentation's going on these days, and what whoever's experimenting on these chimeras and stuff. We don't know if they're just letting them out into our national park or whatever, or out to go feed on humans. I mean, what are the odds of maybe something like this being let out to the public?
You know, when I was in Australia, there was talk of something that they called a marsupial lion, is what it's called in the fossil record. And it was absolutely huge. And people that claim to have seen it, this thing is huge. But it's called a marsupial lion. And it's just, you know, very interesting that things like that be seen. I mean, where does someone even think of that? You know what I mean? And then lo and behold, it exists in the fossil record to some degree. But it's called a marsupial lion, and the pictures of it looks quite fierce. You know, this is somebody else was telling me, swearing that there are black cats out there too. I find it interesting how black cats have become so mysterious now. They're being seen all over the place that they're not supposed to be seen. They're not supposed to be.
They've always been.
Yeah, I mean, we get that here in my state. They're not supposed to be any of. They're seen in the Flint Hills, so you know.
Yeah.
I don't think those are spirit cats. I think those are flesh. Oh goodness, flesh and blood.
These are just dogs that look like bears. Honestly, I don't know. Is that really? Do you think this is really a bear? Has bear DNA in it? I don't know about that.
What was that supposed to be? A bear cat? What is that?
It's a bear dog.
A bear dog? Okay, yeah, a bear dog. That written down on here from my old notes. A bear dog, yeah. I guess. I don't know.
So, okay. Well, nonetheless, it sounds really
probably more like that, I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't want to get into a face-to-face with one of these things. But it says, okay, so Waheela are shape-shifting mammals. They transform into 12-foot-tall bear dog hybrids, they say. And their first form is indistinguishable from humans, and they can shift form at will. Okay, so that is actually one of the descriptions that I've gotten where they are shapeshifters, where they go from human form into a bear dog form. Okay, so there's that. And in human form, they say that they are actually, let's see. Ooh. They said their jaws are capable of chewing through rock, too. That's wild. I don't know about that. Kind of like that cyborg Bigfoot that was in my dream the other night. It could not control its metal mouth. It was trying to eat everybody. But they tend to.
So would you classify that as a nightmare?
It wasn't that scary to me. No, it was just a dream. Listen, my dreams are weird, Barry. Ain't nothing too weird, I guess. But No, it wasn't really a nightmare. I wasn't like, it didn't eat me. It was trying. Okay. But, listen, I do this for fun on the regular in real life. Okay. Um, but yeah, so here's some of the characteristics of these things too, though, right? They are not they're not like a dire wolf. Okay, they're not like a wolf because they actually don't run in packs. When these things are seen, when they've been reported, they are solitary animals. Very okay, they're solitary. They don't have any kind of pack mentality or anything like that. They're not social creatures, and so yeah, they're not going to have like the type of mentality or characteristics of an actual wolf. They're something totally different, they say.
Yeah.
So let's see. Yeah, well, let's talk about where they're actually guarding. Okay, because we're talking about the Nahanni Valley. If I'm pronouncing it. Okay, the Nahanni Valley. Sorry, Nahanni Valley. And so I figured let's pull up some information about the Nahanni Valley. It's actually quite a majestic place, and it seems kind of scary as well. I think Don was putting some stats in the comments earlier about this. He said that some other awesome sites in the Nahanni Valley: the Valerie Ice Cave with 100 doll sheep skeletons, Cirque of the Unclimbables, the jagged mountain peak, and 300 feet high Virginia Falls at Mason Rock. So that's kind of cool. Lots of cool history here. Oh, he said it's the Ice Cave. First canyon, 1.25 miles deep and 3 entrances. That's really cool. Okay. Well, let me pull up some pictures of the Nahanni Valley so you guys can see it. And then we're going to get into why this thing is the guardian of it. And it's not just one. I think there's a whole bunch of them, if these things are real. Let's see, Valley of the Headless Men. Here we go. Here's one picture. I got a bunch of pictures right here. Okay. But Valley of the Headless Men. Okay, so this is actually, so the valley, let's talk about, this is the Nahanni Valley, but some people do refer to this as the Valley of the Headless Men. Now, the Nahanni National Park Reserve is nicknamed the Valley of the Headless Men after a series of 20th century deaths. It includes the 1908 discovery of decapitated skeletons of prospectors. It says Frank and Willie McLeod, which inspired the legends of the lost McLeod, or Leod. I'm going to say McLeod. That's how I pronounce it. Mine. And in unexplained disappearances, the park is also, it has ties to the Dene oral traditions. And they later report on, there's later reports of plane crashes and cryptid sightings out there. Okay, so it is located in Canada. It's associated with the legends of indigenous people, particularly the Saulteaux Dene, who tell stories of the great battle between their ancestors and a rival tribe, resulting in the decapitation of many warriors. Additionally, it's said to be haunted. Tales of ghostly apparitions and mysterious disappearances are linked to the area's dark history. And of course, it is isolated. It's rugged landscape. It's characterized by deep canyons, towering waterfalls, like Don said, dense forests, entrances, or I guess, no, not entrances, it says enhances its eerie reputation. It is a remote wilderness. And of course, there have been tales of unexplained disappearances and some gruesome discoveries. I mean, let's talk about these headless bodies. Okay, so the story goes that this tells of these headless bodies of the prospectors and of there's like Native American skeletons that were found with their heads missing. Modern day tales of that are mostly the Waheela, is what people are saying. But then the indigenous people talk about their tribe warring and some of the skeletons from that being decapitated. So I don't know. What is going on here, Barry? What do you think?
I would listen to what the indigenous are saying, probably.
Yeah.
That's just me, though. You know what I mean? The people that live there, they're experiencing is normally the most reliable. But, That's all I can really say about that. But I'll be curious with the way that place looks. What is the Sasquatch count there? Sightings, you know?
Yes. Well,
How long?
it's got to be pretty high, I would think. I mean, they have cryptid sightings up there. I mean, it looks like a beautiful place. It's a perfect place for Bigfoots. Oh gosh,
It does look really pretty.
look at that. I went like 2 weeks ago. My skin's peeling from all the sunburn that I had from going tubing on a river. It was not nearly. I mean, it was beautiful out there up in North Georgia, but it didn't look like that. That looks dangerous right there. You couldn't ride a tube on that.
A little rough rafting, yeah.
White waters. We had class 1 and class 2 rapids. That was nothing. Okay. The kids were doing it. All right.
For some reason, that little view there reminds me of that guy on the on like the 4-wheeler, and the Sasquatch looking thing walks across the water up across the river, and he stops. What is that? I thought that was kind of a good one, to be honest.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can imagine. I mean, I'm surprised there's not more stories coming out of this area. Okay, of people getting attacked by Bigfoot. I mean, this picture reminds me of like Portlock, Alaska pictures, honestly. I mean, with the landscape background. Yeah, and that's where all that whole community got ran out of there because 30 people went missing and their body parts came floating down the river into the ocean and stuff out there. So I can imagine maybe it's Bigfoot out there too. But yeah, pretty interesting, isn't it? Let's see, the Nahanni National Park Reserve. Let's see, it's sometimes known as the Headless Valley, or Valley of the Headless Men, in the Daco region of Northwest Territories in Canada. And it says protects a portion of the Mackenzie Mountains natural region. And the centerpiece of the park is the South Nahanni River with 4 noteworthy canyons and a whitewater river. And each canyon has walls reaching about 3,300 feet in height. My goodness. And the word Nahanni comes from the local Dene name of the area, Nahadine, which means river of the land of the Naha people. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's see. I'm trying to see how big this place is. Let me share this with the audience actually, so you can see exactly where this is on a map. So I was curious myself. And this is on just a Wikipedia search right here. And here it is. Well, a little dot left on there. Let me go back. Okay, here, let's just blow this up. It's right there. That's not too far from Alaska right there. Okay, I mean, it's still a long way, but I mean, it's up closer to Alaska than it is down here in the lower 48. So, yeah, it probably stays pretty cold up there. Thus, the white fur, I would assume, right, Barry?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So, okay. Wow. Trying to see if there's anything notable to bring up about this place. Yeah. Man, that's pretty. Okay. Well, okay, let's talk about this too. Okay, so you were mentioning that we're talking about kind of the representation of it going into like a shape-shifting Dogman looking creature, right, Barry? And in some cases that is the case with some of the tellings of what the Waheela is. And to me that's the most exciting one. So I like to explore that. Okay. Because I have a cryptid interest, right? And there's something that I was kind of making a connection with where there may not be a connection, but we might as well put it out there, right? The Werehyena. Okay. And people have described this thing as looking like a hyena. Like they say an American hyena. Apparently we used to have hyenas here. And I've talked about that before about the Appalachian hyenas. And now whether they got here by, what do you call those, menageries? I think to like when royalty would come and visit, like maybe Egyptians or, people from Africa or whatever would come up to the North American region. They would bring their basically like a zoo with them. They're wild, exotic animals sometimes, and some of them, there's a chance they could have escaped and gone to live in the mountains and stuff. And that's kind of how we have today. That's what some people do believe, Barry, is that maybe that's why people believe they're seeing like hyenas and stuff in at least the eastern part of the United States and the Appalachians. I don't know. Is that too far-fetched to you, Barry?
Well, I mean, I don't know. You know, when it comes to those American chupacabra and how they look like a Tasmanian tiger, you know, to me, it's what they look like with elongated jaw. And those are supposed to be extinct. But then you find that there were like these little organizations that were trying to save the Tasmanian tiger and were placing them places. And is that what we're seeing with some of those chupacabra? So, you know, you start dealing with that type of trade that was going on or whatever undercover, you know, who knows? You know what I mean? I'm coming to find that it's interesting how many of these different types that are in areas they're not supposed to be. So that might be what that is there. But I gotta be honest, I'm not really heard of the hyena werewolf.
Of the hyena werewolf. Well,
you know what you said?
The Werehyena.
Werehyena. Gotcha.
Well, you know,
got any pictures of that?
I can pull it up right now. Absolutely. Okay.
You know, I've always found interesting how different the Dogmen are described, and when taking them and even cross-referencing them with like Anubis, and I see like some people saying Anubis was a dog, other people saying he was actually a jackal. You know, and I don't know, but but I have had clients that have described quote unquote dog type extraterrestrials, ETs, in abduction, and they described them as the two of her that they were more like German shepherds in uniforms. You know, but they describe how the muzzle looked like a German shepherd. The way when a German shepherd doesn't have its ears completely up and lets them kind of, you know, that they look like that. So, you know, it's interesting to me. And I wonder how many more types and we're dealing with that there are some of them that are extraterrestrial species, interdimensional species. How many different types of dogmen really are there? You know what I mean? Going all the way back to Anubis and the jackal, whichever he was, you know.
Well, you know, it's actually on the chart here of the different types of dogmen that we have here.
Mm-hmm.
Down at the bottom, there's some that looks like they call it, people call it like a hyena type dogman. Okay. And some people do believe that actually these hyena type dogmen are werehyenas. And they are becoming more popular. The thing that I saw looked like an African dog.
Which one looked like the one you saw? Now that's an old picture. I'm surprised people haven't upgraded this now because we've seen more types. And you know, one thing I didn't like about this chart was the type 3. It looked a little too much like the. Anyway, which one was yours?
Well, I mean, it kind of looked like the one at the bottom, but it kind of did not too. At the same time, the one type canine variant 2, but it was all black. It was completely black, and it looked like more like a panther kind of. But that's the only it had the short muzzle on it.
That's the most hideous one.
Almost.
What kind of vibe did it give you?
Those are what kind of vibe? It was. It didn't come at me or anything. It was just sitting there and
how did it make you feel though? You know what I mean? What?
I was confused. I was driving, so I was in my truck. I was ready to protect myself if needed. Okay, but it was just squatted down on the ground. It was kind of hiding, but it kind of wasn't. Yeah.
I love how you just threw in that you were strapped. Right on, Jessica.
I can say that. I'm just to protect myself. I could have ran over it or something if I had to. Okay. But my truck is a weapon. Okay. But anyways, yeah.
You know, it's weird. I always felt like you kind of attracted that thing, and like you were supposed to see it.
I think so too, actually.
Real interesting.
Yeah, because that's kind of how it goes with a lot of the people. Like people that I've talked to, whose hearts are in it for the right reasons. When people are speaking publicly about this stuff, there's something that they and I have in common, and it's like It's like if things had not happened the way they happened, and I had not had these really crazy experiences with Bigfoot, like the first time going out with the team and, seeing a Dogman out of the blue and stuff, I wouldn't be right here today talking about it. And so I feel like there's a reason for that. Like I'm shown these things so that I can discuss it and we can deconstruct it, like I said, and just kind of talk about it.
I'm gonna repeat something I said to you Monday,
Mm-hmm.
and it is really relevant. That for a lot of us, it seems like we're chasing the information, the knowledge, the experience, but the truth is, it's chasing us. And that's an exact prime experience, a prime example of that Dogman encounter right there. Something chasing you and trying to manifest to you, opposed to you being the one investigating. Is it investigating you and making sure you're aware? And these are things that help pushing us forward perceptually in consciousness. I think it's very important,
Mm-hmm.
and why these things are becoming more visible.
Yes.
It's a little off topic, but sometime I want to talk about something we haven't really talked about, and that's the trolls. We talked about little people and other things, but those trolls, and some of them seem they're a little bit bigger, and they get like mistaken for sometimes some type of Sasquatch, but they're these trolls. Seen several pictures of people starting to, and I think it's really interesting. And when dealing with actually the legend of trolls, what is that? You know what I mean? I don't know. You may have delved into that before, but I haven't really. Outside of these fools on the internet. That's different though. But they do just like the trolls with the big Billy Gruff. They go underneath the bridge. They come in with the masses, and the masses they cover them, and then they wait to strike when the time is right. Like he popped out on the three goats when the time was right. A lot of people passed over for that. That troll jumped out. That's kind of what they do. But anyway, but seriously, the other ones that I think would be interesting, because I hear these differences between definitely, they look a little Sasquatch-like, but they're different. I'm curious about some of their habits and some other things like that. Do they display paranormal abilities as well? I'm just curious,
Oh yeah. Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. I don't know. Well, this is this is okay. Let's see let me give credit to whoever's website. I just pulled this up. Just the first thing that I found online. This is the connectparanormal.net. Okay. And that is not anything like what I saw. Okay, on the side of the road. It didn't look anything like that. But we're talking about a Werehyena. I'm going to show you pictures of actual hyenas here in just a minute.
Man, that reminds me of the creature, the werewolf from the Werewolf TV series on Fox.
Mm-hmm.
In about 87. It just kind of looked, one of them kind of looked like that. It's a little skinny with the extended arms. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Well, that is not at all what I saw. Okay, just to make that clear. But okay, it says the Werehyena symbolism and social dynamics and folklore. Now, I want to preface it by saying that I've had conversations with friends who we've talked about the Werehyenas. There have been plenty of, I want to say, like feline type, like panther hyenas, like cat. I know it's kind of weird, like it's kind of like a cat hyena, not a hyena. What am I trying to say? A werecat. A werecat is what I'm trying to say. We've had some cases though. There's actually a case out of Missouri where a park ranger actually shot at some werecats recently. I'm talking about within the past year. And I don't know if he actually hit any of them or what happened when he shot at them, but I talked about that with Robbie Rains and with Eddie Testerman. But yeah, okay. So the Werehyena is primarily from Africa and the Middle East. It diverges European werewolf legends, shapeshifters that maintain human intelligence, and but yeah, the conversations that I've had about these are all about black magic and some of the magic, the traditions, like coming from Central America and South America up into North America. Okay, and I think that has or even from Africa as well. Okay, but with the werecats and stuff, and some of these werehyenas, we were actually, because hyenas are not dogs, right? They're actually, are they a type of cat? If I'm mistaken, I don't know. They're more closely related to something else. They're not dog.
What's the hyenas?
A hyena, yes, the hyenas.
Yeah, they're like what are they? They're closer to, oh gosh, what is it? Because you've got the you've got the others, not the jackals, but you've got the other that are quite similar to them. What are gosh, I'm gonna pull that up right now. But anyway, yeah, I can't remember exactly their mix up, but yeah, they're like definitely not all dog.
Yeah.
And it's interesting when you see the laughing ones, how they always surround those. The battle that them and lions have, it just seems epic to me. And the only way they win sometimes surely by numbers. Those hyenas, they know how to use numbers big time, you know.
Yeah, so hyenas are neither cat nor dogs. They belong to their own distinct family called the Hyenidae. Hyenidae, I think is how you pronounce that. They're more closely related to cats than dogs, but they are unique in their own right. They share more recent common ancestry with cats. And so they possess features that differentiate them from both cats and dogs, such as powerful jaws and broad molars designed for crushing bones. And of course, people mistake hyenas for being related to dogs due to their physical appearance and behavior, but that's not the case. That's not the case. Okay, so there's a little tidbit.
What is a jackal fused with? Has it got fox in it? That's worth looking up too. The jackal.
Jackal. Let's see. What is a jackal? Yeah, that is what Anubis is supposed to be, and that's what people associate Dogman with. Is Anubis, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
jackal animal. The band Jackal came up. Okay, y'all remember that band? Barry? I don't know.
No, I'm afraid I missed that one. I probably missed that along with Rick Springfield and Jesse's Girl. Anyway.
So jackals are actually canids, native to Africa and Eurasia. The word jackal has historically been used for many canines, but it commonly refers to three species. They're closely related to the black-backed jackal, the side-striped jackal, and the Central and South African, the golden jackal in South Central Europe and Asia. So yeah, they're more of like a dog. They're more closely related to a dog than the hyena is, for sure. Okay, well, the Werehyena actually is in Shapeshifter mythology. The Werehyena occupies a special position that sets it apart from the werewolf. Okay, so, but it is a form of lycanthropy, basically. And I'm going to say like a pinwalker. Really. I don't know.
It could have been degeneracy and not lycanthropy. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, okay. Well, that's just from that website that I just found. Okay. But anyways, we're talking about the Waheela. Okay, and they're just trying to make some connections there. It's probably not a Werehyena, but people do connect the Waheela to the hyena potentially. I got some more pictures to show.
So just for the record, how do you feel?
I guess not.
About, in your opinion, is there a difference between a dogman and a werewolf? Do you feel they're different? Is the dogman something that just is a dogman, and the werewolf is strictly human shapeshifting into dog, or do you feel that there's a cross there? What do you think's going on there between the dogman and the werewolf?
Well, werewolf traditionally is a human that transforms into a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
It's a werewolf. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's what, like, when I brought my buddy Vic Cundiff on the show, he's with Dogman Encounters over on YouTube and all over the place. Vic's awesome. Okay. Well, Vic is like, okay, look, there's a difference between a werewolf and a dogman. A werewolf transforms. A dogman was born a dogman or a dog pup, right? Now, there are other people, let's just say whistleblowers, who've come out claiming that they're parts of these like dogman breeding programs, the werewolf breeding programs. My buddy Nick Sylvester comes on the show. He stands behind that testimony from that Victor guy that talked about how he was part of the dogman breeding program as well as his dad. And it goes back to the 1950s. Well, they talk about how the werewolves are actually, they don't transform. They're born as werewolves. Okay. So it just depends on who you're asking. I mean, I'd like to think a werewolf is in the sense of like a transformer, a shapeshifter. That's what I think. I mean, that's just the traditional definition of it. I mean, at this point, I don't know.
That's interesting.
I don't
That's
know
interesting.
anymore.
I know on that old Werewolf series, Chuck Connors played the main like bad guy, evil werewolf, and they started saying that he was kind of a hulking deal, as his body was hulking from something, and that he was more like actually a wolf masquerading as a man, as opposed to a man that becomes a wolf. He starts, I am the wolf, supreme. Yes. Anyway, but it threw another thing on it, because he would kind of just actually drop his skin and the wolf was underneath. You know what I mean? And it's just little concepts like that. And what is the difference between a werewolf and a skinwalker? Truly, are those similar? I know the skinwalker can be many different things, but when it turns into the wolf, I'm just curious. Some of all these classifications are always different as we think. And what I really like, as you brought that up, is that show you did with Vic kind of, and how he kind of blew everybody away, saying that none of the dog attack stuff he's never been able to prove. It's totally unproven. He was really kind of against that. I thought that was interesting. And he's dealt with that topic more than most of us.
He's taken a lot of reports. Yeah, he's taken a lot of reports. Yes, he also kind of scolded me for chasing Dogman too. It's okay. I love Vic.
Why?
Like, shouldn't do that because it's so dangerous. Listen, I am fully aware of how dangerous what I do is. Okay, I know it's very dangerous.
You have silver bullets?
I don't need silver bullets.
I'm just teasing you. You're such a good shot. You don't need no silver, huh? I got you.
If you got a Dogman charging at you, you're probably not going to have time to shoot it. I'm just saying, but I don't know. They're going to come down from a tree and pounce on you anyway. So, like I said, that's Southern charm, Barry.
Yeah. I got you. All right. Right on. If it was a Waheela, it would be bulletproof anyway. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Like I keep saying, that I don't know. That's just something about that whole story about them that just really stuck out to me. Because I heard like several, that Graves guy was the first person. But then when you start researching the few encounters of them there are, it's a lot about them being impervious. And something else versely that I heard the same thing about when researching was the monkey. Oh gosh.
The monkey.
Oh gosh, what's it called?
What monkey?
It's a monkey. It's a cryptid. It's bulletproof. No. God, what can I think of? I'm sorry, I cannot think of. Not.
Let's see.
Devil monkey. Jeez, gosh, it was so hard. Man, I'm tired. Sorry. Devil monkey. The devil monkey. Most of the reports I heard about was them being bulletproof. That came up a lot in the description deal. And it's one, to be honest, I think maybe the devil monkey is seen almost as much as the Waheela, you think? At least in current times. Waheela goes further back, I think, doesn't it? But still. Yeah.
Well, the devil monkey, so I ran into the devil monkey when I was doing research on the I did a show. I had been given the remote viewing target of the Woods Devils. Okay, the Wood Devils up in New Hampshire. And so I had Janie Garrell from Midwest Night Watchers on the show, and we talked about that, and we got into the devil monkeys because they're actually New Hampshire cryptid as well. And I think the Woods Devils and the devil monkeys are all impervious to bullets and stuff. And I
gotta be honest, I'm not real familiar with the Wood Devil.
The Wood Devil, they kind of look like a Bigfoot, but they're tall and very skinny, and they blend into the trees up there. And you can't. And sometimes you'll walk right past them because you'll think they are a tree. But see, they
look like Sasquatch. Is that what you're saying?
Kind of, but not really. I mean, they're more closely related to they'd be like a, let's just say like an anorexic Bigfoot or something. I don't know. They're just
really
super skinny, really tall and super skinny. Yeah. and they look like.
I'm surprised with all the talk that we've talked about Sasquatch manifesting trees, whether they're using the radiation out of trees, whether they're using this and that, and that this wood devil thing has never come up. I'm kind of shocked. I mean, that's a prime deal. That goes right along with the Green Man, Sasquatch, all those things. And the first time I really honestly heard the term wood devil, I was watching one of these. It had to be one of these, excuse my language, these damn AI, CI clips, reels that come through. And I'm starting to watch them. I got to get off them because sometimes these little Dallas clips come by. I'm watching J.R. Ewing dogging people out. I got to get off that. But one of them was this person with some sort of, it was this creature against the tree. And it was like, the way it was put with it was just kind of ridiculous, but it was just odd. And they kept saying, he's got a wood devil right there. That's a wood devil. I'd not heard that term before. That was just a few days ago.
Devil.
So to hear you say it now, and I'm like, okay, what exactly was it? And I'm thinking this thing I was seeing there. It didn't look like a Bigfoot. It was terrible, whatever they were doing. It looked like maybe some pudding on the tree. It was just weird, Anyway.
We showed that on Monday, didn't we? That skinwalker that was in that video. Do you remember that? It sounds like you're describing what we showed on Monday.
The thing looked like it was the flat thing against the tree. It was smashed.
Yes.
Was that okay? Was it? Maybe you did show that. I mean, it was. Okay, you used it. I never heard that term till you used it then. Wood devil, but I'll probably start laughing. I'm sorry, but that was.
I'm gonna show this real quick to the audience because I was gonna show something else off my TikTok tonight or today, whatever. It's not nighttime, y'all. This is my the Cryptid Huntress. Oh man, I finally hit 11,000 followers. I'll be darned. About time.
Oh, there's just a diorama. The reptilian with the diorama. And what do your audience called it? The lunchbox.
Yeah. Well, this is that. Is that what you're talking about right here, Barry? Whoops. Hold on. Let me go back down. Is it that?
Yes, that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. With the eyes. Yeah, that's it. Oh, I'm sorry. This makes me laugh for some reason, but I mean, I'd not heard the term of wood devil. That's the first time for me. So
I
there you
go. Yeah, that thing is okay. So that's what you were talking about. I knew it. Okay. While I'm on the TikTok, okay, I know we're talking about something else, but I wanted to show the audience this. This is my sister sent me this yesterday, as a matter of fact. Here's our reptilian buddies.
The lunchbox.
Oh crap. Sorry. Okay, this is shoot. Okay, check this out. This is a headless human. We're talking about the Valley of the Headless People, right? The headless men. And my sister had just sent me this video of a person walking down the street. This is on a Ring doorbell camera, and this person does not have a head. It's a headless person. Isn't that weird? Here, I can pause it. Let's pause that. That person, that is a human body with no head. Right there.
I'm calling Ichabod Crane.
Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, well, that's what every time I headless people, that's what I always thought about was Ichabod Crane. Always, they give that guy a hard time. Anyway, but point being that looks like somebody. That looks like a stunt. There's somebody in a deal. Little thick around this chest, don't you think?
I don't know. Scary Paranormal 2026. That's their TikTok. Y'all go check them out. If you want to go watch that, it's
You never know. Could be somebody that survived the Highlander series walking down the street. Still got the quickening. Anyway.
I don't know. It could be CGI, it could be anything. Okay. It could be made on AI. Okay. But nonetheless, that I actually had seen that video a while back, and then my sister sent it to me, and then this morning I was like, oh, you know what? My sister just sent me a video of a headless person. Okay, so that's why I had it. I had it in the arsenal. Okay, to show the audience if we wanted to today.
That's interesting, though. It's interesting. You never know.
Yeah.
It's so hard to tell these days. That's the only thing that sucks now. The deception is getting real good. The
deception. There's a lot of deception.
I'm still, to be honest with you, I still kind of don't believe the reptilian picture that you showed. You said you'd verified it, but I mean, it's not you. It's just that it just seems so remarkably convenient. You know what I mean?
The guy from the Netherlands?
I I don't know. You explained it, but you had two different sides of it: the enhanced one and the unenhanced.
Do you want me to try it? I don't know if I still have it. I think I've deleted it off.
He looked like a brother to me, and he had the cranial ridges. Remember? He looked like a chittaboo or whatever.
Netherlands reptilian man. Hold on. I got to look this up and I'll pull it up for the audience if I can find it. Okay. Let's see. Netherlands reptilian man. Yeah, it doesn't. I have it in my. Oh, here it is. Found him. All right, let's show this. How about it? And I don't know. I'm not 100% convinced anything's real anymore, Barry. Any kind of pictures that we're shown, it's all subject to being AI and fake. Okay, so but here I'll go ahead and share this. Show the audience. I actually have like an enhanced version of this picture to show on the show on Monday, and so like this right here is just the original, allegedly. And the story behind this is that this is actually supposed to be a man who lived in the Netherlands. He was kind of outcasted by the community because they thought that he had a disease or something wrong with him. But I don't know. He's got a freaking cranial bridge thing on top of his head. He clearly looks like a reptile. Okay,
completely.
His head.
I mean, he looks like Credo's deal of that. I'm trying to find that picture. He looks just like that, like what the thing that Darth Maul was supposed to be based on is these particular reptilians, right?
But also they're human as well. So yeah.
Here it is. Hold on. Here it is. Here it is.
In an age we just don't know.
Now let's do a little comparison of this guy to this picture I'm about to share here, and let's just see. I mean, that's what makes you wonder if it's like, is that real, or is it something that people knew, like what we're talking about right now, and put it together with really good AI, really good CGI? Right there, the one at the top right. He does look an awful lot like that.
Oh, I have to put this down first. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It's my bad. Oh, yeah, it does look like that. Kind of.
That was from Credo and Icky. Or, I'm sorry, Ike. I don't know if you get all mad. Yeah. Anyway, but it just the top right, and that, like you said, he said that those beings look like Darth Maul from Star Wars. I had to go back and actually watch that because that was one of the Star Wars movies I did not like. But anyway.
Oh,
and then possessing people through the sex chakra. That picture one more time. So they look similar to me. I'm just saying, especially the cranial part up there. He looks like he'd be a cross between both of those types, the ones that were just shown in that picture.
He also looks human too. What are the odds of him being like a human reptilian hybrid?
And you know me, how I always make correlations with TV movies or movies. Man, it kind of reminds me of Louis Gossett Jr. in the movie Enemy Mine. If you might have seen that one with Dennis Quaid, where Louis Gossett Jr. played the Drac, and there's something he learned how to do as a kid where he talks to you, and he was doing that as this Drac. It was actually a really good movie, to be honest. Did you ever see that one, maybe?
No, I don't.
Damn, man. Damn. Lady, see that? You see the Enemy Mine? That's one you and Ben might both enjoy together. It's a good movie. It's a little 80-ish, but it holds up. The concept is good. The effects are just good enough, But it's a really good. No, I'm not kidding. It's a really good plot. It's a good movie.
I swear, the audience is so funny. Every time we bring up a reptilian, they bring up Dr. Greer. God.
Man, I don't blame him. I don't get myself in trouble, but golly, that guy, I'm sorry, I don't like that guy's energy. And he does kind of look like he's like some sort of a, you talk about chimeras, look like he's going right back down to the lab down there, man. There's some people like him and some of the others, hey, he presents a lot of information, but I don't like some of this bureaucracy and the financial stuff that surrounds some of those individuals. I think it takes away from real truth, But if I was to say a shapeshifter, I would question if he was one. I would question that immediately.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That one.
Oh, let's go. I like the one with the tongue. That was great.
Showing well, the internet has no chill. Okay. The internet literally has no chill. All right. So yeah, we're gonna take that down. I don't want to get in trouble there. Okay, this is for entertainment purposes only, everybody.
Oh, that's what it was. That was entertaining as hell. I like the one with the tongue, man. That was great.
I saw that too. I was like, oops. Let's get that off the screen.
Oh man, wow.
I'm very respectful. The guy's done a lot of good work, And but every time I cannot ignore the fact that every time we bring up these reptilians, he comes up. Okay, so
well, it is interesting, and I gotta tell you, as far as him, I'm sorry, I'm fresh out of Gold Stars, Jones. Anyway, fresh out of Gold Stars, but yeah, it's man, wow. Oh. So I guess so. Do they also think he looks like Louis Gossett Jr. in Enemy Mine? By the way, he did. On the serious note, he did a killer performance in that movie. I've always thought Dennis Quaid. He's a good actor too, but together I thought it was a good chemistry. Two great actors, because Dennis Quaid is part of my favorite movie of all time, which is Dreamscape. So got to give him props. And I like the one with that Inner Space wasn't bad either.
Oh yeah.
And he did another movie called Barry, which was with Mickey Rooney. Mickey Rooney is playing this disabled guy named Barry.
Oh really?
Yeah. Right around the time the Black Stallion came out. I'm sure you didn't see that one either, right, Jones? no Black Beauty and Black Stallion for you, huh?
No of it. I don't remember watching it. Yeah.
That's all right. That's fun. Someday you'll have, when you get older, you'll have all these great 80s movies to discover. It'll make you feel young again.
So one day when I have time to watch movies, I will.
I really would. Jokes aside, though, I would really, one of the movies, and I might do a live about that movie sometime. The movie Looker with Albert Finney, who actually happened to be in Wolfen, like I said earlier. What they did with not just the digital twins, but how they were showing the what do you call it? The advertisement, the controlled advertisement, targeted advertisement, all that stuff they were showing. But to me, it was that gun they had that created the missing time through light particles. That's where it's at, and that to me had a lot of relation to the abduction phenomenon, the context scenario, and missing time too. You know what I mean? But how some of these beings can do that through their optical nerves, or sometimes I think the environment does it as well on board those craft. We're doing, so just food for thought again. But
wow,
they describe it. They say this is impulses, light impulses to create missing time. And they're talking about it. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
To create missing.
The dude has a gun, he goes, whoop, and all of a sudden people just be standing there still. You know what I mean? Like how much time they would be unaware of it. So basically, they're like turning you off. Same thing.
I was reading one account when I don't know where I saw this. I was just thumbing through, doing some research last night, and I found an account of a guy that got taken on board a spacecraft. I think it was in Brazil, and I'm sure you or the audience, y'all are gonna know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about, but there was a guy that had an abduction experience where he had a bunch of missing time, but he recalls being taken into, I think it was like men in black who turned into reptilians. Like he was taken out of his home or wherever he was by some men in black. They went to an open area. A spaceship came down, literally beamed them into the spaceship. They turned into reptilians, and he said that he was getting examined. And he looked over, he saw human bodies hanging upside down, like dead bodies inside the spacecraft and stuff. I don't know. Are you familiar with that? It was out of Brazil.
A bit. It wasn't Villas Boas. I have heard that before, but I can't. Yeah, and the thing is, that caught my eye was it's like an older deal, like the black men, the Men in Black. You hadn't heard about a lot about that yet, except for the first guy that brought that up. Like, what was his name? Golly.
Yeah. I did not thumbnail that or tab it or whatever you call it. I didn't save the information, but it like definitely left an imprint in my mind. I was like, wow. MIBs, because they talk about like how MIBs, a lot of
Al Bender was the first one to talk about Men in Black. It's Al Bender, but that story I think came around not too long after Al Bender. I could be wrong, but I think Sorry, I didn't interrupt you. You were saying something.
I mean, a lot of people do believe that MIBs are of alien hybrids or maybe even reptilian and stuff. I know I got.
You ever RV'd them?
I've never RV'd the Men in Black.
I gave you the black-eyed children, though, didn't I?
I've done the black-eyed kids. Yeah. I did a remote viewing target of that man that showed up at my doorstep at 3 in the morning in Atlanta with the black eyes too. That was weird. That was like a watcher or something. That was weird. Somebody that was keeping an eye on me, so to speak. Yeah. I don't know. This was really. It's not what we make it. Or it's not. It is what we make it. It's not what we're told. Right. It's not what we're told. And to know, like through that target, I did find out that I do have people that are following me. And I don't know if it's in a good way or a bad way, but it's almost like keeping an eye on me and potentially maybe like testing me and stuff. Like, have you ever felt like you had people testing you and stuff around you, Barry? And I think that's what that man was, that black-eyed man that was in my house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know what my test was about, but it was. I think he was testing.
You open up that door and let him in. Get probably knocked off. That's probably what the test was. I don't think it was anything good going on there. On a serious note,
Ooh. And he didn't look like a kid either. He was a.
You know how it is. Just like the black-eyed kids and the vampires, they ask to come in. They try to get in. Some reason they can't just come right in and break in. Some reason for that. One of those little fine things, the divine field that we don't hear about. You know what I mean?
Yes, you have to let them in. Yeah. I got
somebody. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Lisa.
Oh, no. I was just thinking, I've always looked for like a doormat that says go away on it instead of welcome. Don't ever put a doormat in front of your house, y'all, that says welcome. Just don't. Okay. Or one of those big signs like you get at Hobby Lobby. It's like, welcome into our home. No, you're not.
Oh, never put those down. Never put those in front of your house. Yeah. That's you remember one movie even you saw this one, Lost Boys. Yes. You remember homeboy, that old nerdy cat that was a head cat, man. He told him later that they said, but you came in, you passed all the tests. He said, you foolish boy, you never invite a vampire into your house. Remember, you walked right up there. Oh, you're the man of the house, not coming in until you invite me. It was this nerdy cat. They let him on in, Yeah. There was a movie that Fright Night 2, or maybe Fright Night the remake, which was not very good. But that cat found a way to get in that house past that without being invited in. He blew it up. He did something. Anyway, I don't know. It's I know. Somebody had a question on there. They asked if Fire in the Sky was real. I think that's an interesting account on account of when I was dealing with Jimmy Church. He wanted to get Travis and I on a show together. It never happened because you want to talk when I described those Nordics in the blue suits. And I guess Travis saw something similar. And the thing is that it came out, he kind of revealed later. I don't know if he discovered it later or what, but I know there's some exaggeration that goes with the story, maybe with the people he was involved with. I don't know. But he says that he actually, when he saw that light and that light hit him, it pretty much killed him. And they took him on board to save him. Okay, so he got a healing. But he freaked out when he started seeing what was going on. And he was saying how that wasn't represented in the Hollywood movie and other things like that. It seemed like it's more of a torture when actually it was a healing that was saving his life. Because wherever that light is came out of that craft, killed him when it hit him. Or pretty much all but killed him. Yeah. So, so it's a karma thing going on between those beings and, that situation. I found that interesting. And to be quite honest, something else interesting about his story I find interesting. Sorry, that's interesting. I find interesting, fascinating. It's when he saw the humanoids, but they weren't just human, but they had the fish bowls over their heads. What's up with that? And anytime I hear that humanoids are wearing the fish bowls, is that because they're humanoid like you and I, and it's the microcloud I was talking about, and the metals and microwaves in our atmosphere will take them out? Is that why they're wearing that? Or is it something else? You know what I mean? Is it they can't breathe or oxygen at all? I think it's interesting. You're laughing, but it's kind of interesting. Well, what's up with the fish bowls? I've always called it that.
Well, that's how, scuba divers were always represented. Like we were kids on cartoons and stuff. Like they had a fishbowl over their head when they go underwater and stuff. So maybe it's got some connection to that. I don't know. Actually, this is kind of similar, but not the same. Urso had mentioned, we were talking about the dead bodies that this person out of Brazil had claimed that they saw when they went to the spacecraft. They were having this missing time incident, but they remembered some of it. And they said they got taken on board by MIBs who turned into reptilians. I think there were 3 of them. And he looked over into another room in the spacecraft and saw dead bodies. Urso says dead bodies are husks that they wear, like body suits, these human meat suits. That's a good too.
Or if you listen to Credo, that they eat.
They eat them too. That's right.
Yeah, I've heard that more than wearing. Because if you have ability, technology that can morph you the way you look, would you need a meat suit like that?
No.
If you're truly a shapeshifter, truly. I'm just asking. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not into the eating people things, so I don't know. But it reminds me of some of those older ones too, like the first woman that was talking about she did cattle mutilation, what she saw, or those people that see those whole vats full of human parts.
Yeah.
And they look like almost as in a cauldron. Do you remember the Beastmaster? No, probably not. Anyway, but you had those beings that they were like bird beings of some type, but they were like they were grabbing up on some people, man. And a stew. He looked to see what's in the stew. A human head came up. It's stuff like that. But it's really not funny because that is going on, obviously. I don't think it's the majority of the factions that are here, but those beings do exist, and it's cool now that we use the Spirit Network to kind of analyze that. Mm-hmm. Obviously, people are watching, but anyway, but yeah. So that
Spirit Network, Blueberry.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Well, it's interesting. Someone starts talking about the spontaneous combustion, and that's something that I know directly you and I were talking about at length several times. And I see other individuals that have not read that book, have not done anything or quoting that. And it irritated me, to be honest, because I know people watch and they don't give any credit; they just steal. And I think it's really crappy, but it is what it is. It's the world,
I think that Dawn was wondering, did I open the door, Dawn? Because I know I'm behind on comments. I did not open the door to that black-eyed man. Okay, the man with the black eyes. I still remember what he was wearing. Everything. Like I remember, he was like a Hispanic guy, and he had like a shiny belt buckle, and like. He looked like he was dressed to go out and have some fun or something, but he had wandered off, and that's why I thought maybe he was drunk or something. I lived in the bar district, okay, but he was not. He was not. There's no way he was human. There's no way that man was human. I did not open my door. Hell no. Hell no.
Well, it goes back again to what we were saying earlier. It's the experiencing, the knowledge, the thing. It's chasing us. The whole thing is chasing us, opposed to us chasing it. That's another prime example of that, And for all you know, he was from that craft you saw that put y'all to sleep out in the forest. You don't know. Never know.
Ooh.
Never know.
Yeah. I don't know if that, you know what? Actually, that was around the same time. Oh, I never even thought about that.
Mm-hmm. Because there's a time lag, a little bit difference in time lag. That's all. Yeah. No. And you got to remember, for the other these beings, that didn't affect them, what they're doing. I don't even think about our space-time continuum like we do.
Actually, that was years before that, Barry. That was at least, I'm going to say that was about 5 years before I started doing Bigfooting. So it was before. It wasn't the same time. See, I know because I lived in so many different places throughout downtown.
What was it before the mantis encounter?
The witch encounter? The mantis? Oh, yeah, it was way before that because the mantis encounter was when my son was born.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm talking about like, when I was still in my 20s back then, okay? I was like young.
The Bar District of Atlanta, is that what you said?
Right. I was living on Ponce de Leon. Yes, right across from the Claremont Lounge. Anybody's security.
I don't know what that means. I'm just teasing you, man.
I'm not going to tell you. You have to look it up yourself, okay?
I've been to Atlanta. I've seen enough. That's the party city. I got you. Atlanta Live. Good club, man. Anyway,
yeah.
back in the 90s.
Angelique will go after the show today, and Angelique is going straight to the store to get a new doormat.
Hey, seriously, I think that those, all jokes aside, I think seriously that I've been saying that for a long time, decades, that I think those are an invitation to negative beings coming into your house. I think if you have one of those out there, it doesn't stop, even if you've done a little protection. I think you have that out there that somehow allows them, because it's laid there with intent, just when you set it down, what it says and in the intent. That's all it takes,
That's all.
Even if you've done a protection, it's like, hey, here's a protection, but here's a little back door right here, Yeah,
it's like a subconscious allowance of like letting people in. It's like an open invitation. You don't mean to do it. I mean, it seems so innocent putting out a mat, especially down here in the South. We don't want to have the Southern hospitality. I mentioned that earlier about how I don't need silver bullets. I got my Southern hospitality. I was a kid. But yeah, we want to be welcoming. We want everybody to feel included. I mean, like I said, we're in the South down here. That's how we are. Some of us. Well, I used to be. I'm not like that anymore. I'm not like that anymore. I've learned too much, and people are not nice. Not everybody.
Oh yeah.
It can suck, but vampires suck worse and more, probably. So.
Something I found interesting. You had an individual on. It was maybe it was E.D. Testerman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know now, but they were talking about the kissing bug thing.
Oh, I was talking about the vampire thing. That was with Bruce. Bruce brought that up, Bruce Brown. And yes, he was my guest on Saturday night. Well, that was in regard to the vampire. There was a woman out of either a country in Africa or it was an island somewhere. I don't know. She had her lip was halfway bitten off. Okay. And this was a video. It was kind of going viral a little bit, and that's how I came across it. And she was distraught. She was running around. She said that she had been, I think she had gone out to a club or something. She had gone somewhere dancing the night before, and went home with a dude, or he went home with her, whatever. And that he attacked her it turned out he was a vampire. He was trying to eat her blood. And he bit her lip, and I thought that was really interesting. Like normally I wouldn't even bring this up because it's kind of weird, right? But see, I have a friend of mine, good friend of mine, who claims to have been. She's got a particular blood type. She said that she's been targeted since she was a kid by vampires, literal vampires, and that when she was a kid, even as an adult, she'd wake up and like her inside of her lip would be all bloody and messed up. She said because they actually latch on to your lip, and that's where they take the blood from, is your lip. And when I saw that woman, I thought, man, that is wild, because I never heard anybody else say that and show that. But it's a well-known thing, and that's when Bruce brought up the kissing bug. I never heard of that before.
I'd heard of the kissing bug before, and these two little things, but it's not the tearing of the total lip, but just these little punctures from like some type of a critter. And I only heard that like people like my grandmother and Miss Early May and them talking about that type of stuff. You know what I mean? I was so young, but I remember just hearing about the kissing bug. And I kind of equated it with bed bugs. You know what I mean? But I don't think that's what they were talking about.
No, not bed bugs. Yeah, I never heard of the kissing bug. Bed bugs would suck too, actually. But
oh, yeah, definitely. I wouldn't want to deal with that.
But too, don't they?
What's that?
Don't bed bugs live off of human blood and like dried skin and things like that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Kind of like them dust mites tripled, quadrupled. Those dust mites look quite. They look quite they look monsters, man. When you actually see them. What is it, 500 magnification? They look pretty sinister.
Yeah. Don, is that oh hell no? Is that what OHN stands for? Yeah, that one gets a big OHN. Oh hell no. Okay, that's all right. Everything's in acronyms these days too. I can do the same thing. But anyways. Well, listen, this has been a fantastic show today. We're not going to keep the audience all day, y'all. I've really enjoyed this. I enjoy all of our shows. I think it's very informative and really. Thank you, Donna. See, yes, and I think it's very informative. And I love taking these cryptids like the Waheela, and then connecting the dots with the other things that we've talked about and the things that we've done remote viewing targets on. And maybe one day this will come up as a remote viewing target. Okay, my targets are blind. I just get a set of numbers. It could happen. Okay. And, so Barry, thank you so much for being here today.
No problem. A part of me regretted not giving that target to you, but I traded it for CERN and John Teeter. I think that was a good trade, though, man. I don't regret. That was a good show. So more informative than I ever would have thought it was. So I can't say that. So it was nice to talk about this one too.
Oh yeah, it was. I want to address this. Hillbilly Herb, he said, weird, I'm seeing some mantids today in my various feeds. Isn't that interesting? Because I did too. I actually was seeing posts last week or over the weekend of the different mantid types. There were 4 different types that someone had posted, and it was kind of going all over Instagram. And so that's something to kind of dive into in another show one day. I think that would be a cool show to do. There's actually a mantis man. It's actually a cryptid. It's either mantid or mantis man out of the United States. Okay, that would be a fun one to cover and get into the mantid beings, since I have encountered one personally. And so maybe we'll get Barry. Barry, you might want to come back on for that show one day and get mantid beings and all the insectoids. But yeah, I think it's part of the slow trickle out to the normies. It's like they're bringing out the reptilian stuff. They're bringing out the mantids right now, and they've been talking about the time travel with the president doing that time travel post on Monday. And yeah, it's fun. It's fun. We'll see where this gets. But in the meanwhile, Barry, where can everybody find you?
You can reach me at barrylittleton13@gmail.com. I do services, hypnosis, readings, hypnosis. I do earthbound spirit release, all types of regressions, all sorts of hypnosis sessions. Reach me, barrylittleton13@gmail.com. Also on Facebook, on Barry Littleton, Instagram, and most importantly, probably YouTube under Barry Littleton. Also on Patreon under Barry Littleton. One day I'm gonna get these cool handles or something like everybody else has.
Yeah. Well, it's easier to find you this way. Actually, it's easier to find you. Barry Littleton on YouTube and Patreon, y'all. Yes, it's yeah, you are highly recommended too for sessions and things like that. Everybody that's had a session with you absolutely loved it.
Oh, thanks. It's been a real blessing too. Like I said, it's the best work I've ever done. And to be honest, I'm always just blown away. Every single one of them. They're all different, and you never know what's going to come out of it. And it's really learning for everybody, and it empowers the client much more than just the readings are cool, but hypnosis, you can do it yourself and get down to the meat of it. It's really enriching and just relaxing most of the time.
Just relaxing. I know. Yeah. I've gone down the rabbit hole of what is it now? There's this new thing where all the girls, except to the ladies, are going to these head spas, and they do that ASMR is what I don't know what that stands for, but it's where they make all that sound of scratching your head and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Hair. What? It's wild. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing it myself. Okay. But it's where you just go get your hair brushed, fingernails on your scalp and stuff. It looks amazing. So that's one of those. It's another viral thing. I found a couple in my town. I might go let y'all know how. Yeah. But anyways, fantastic. Yeah, we can all use some relaxation, y'all. I know it's a crazy time right now. Man, I've actually also noticed that there's an uptick, and maybe it's the algorithm that I got in and stuff, but people really feeling like they're losing hope right now. on stuff. Like, you know,
Feeling
people
what?
like they're losing hope with like, you know, it's just like the world is like collapsing in on people. They feel like we've been strong for so long and, you know, nothing good's happening. And it's like people aren't trying to help wake people up. But, you know, when is this going to change? When's the world going to change and stuff? And so, you know, I've been feeling kind of down in the dumps myself occasionally. Okay. And Barry, you're aware of that. We talked about it. But y'all, please try to don't lose hope, everybody. Okay, we're moving into a higher density, and we're having growing pains, right, Barry?
Yeah. And it starts off, you know, do something nice for somebody. It's real easy. It'll take nothing, and you never know what one little thing you might do for someone that completely changes their life that day. Somebody may be suicidal, and you say something that changes it. You really don't know, you know, and it's worth just being positive and trying to uphold that whole golden rule thing just based on that. Do something nice. One thing nice for somebody just once a day, every day. You benefit from it, you know?
Do something nice for yourself every day. How about that too? You know, you know, I'm a parent, you know, I got a kid and stuff, so I got to look out for my kiddo. It's also good to do something nice for yourself. Okay, so do that too. Tune into the Cryptid Huntress channel. I will keep y'all entertained. I promise you that. Okay, y'all can come over here and laugh occasionally. But everybody keep your head up, y'all, and your head on a swivel. Keep your chin up and your head on a swivel.
Right.
But Josh, in the meanwhile, Mark SRT, well, thank you so much for being a member of the Hunt Club for a month. That is so cool of you. I appreciate that. Thank you for the super sticker too. I appreciate your support. That means the world to me, and it's very sweet. And also Michigan Sandman as well. Thank you for the super sticker. Eat your fiber, folks. Get rid of your welcome mats. Eat your fiber, okay? And we should be fine for that. But okay, well, thank you guys so much for all your support. Y'all, please come back and see me tomorrow night. I'll be back with a live show at 8 p.m. Eastern here on the Big Country Channel. And of course, you guys can find my shows over on Spreaker and all the podcasting platforms. Barry's got his shows over there as well on his Spreaker account. So y'all check us out on podcasts and I'm on Rumble, Facebook. We're broadcasting live on X, Facebook, and YouTube right now. So thank you to everybody who showed up today in the chat. Thank you to all my moderators for being here today, and all my Hunt Club members and my Patreon members. Okay. All right. Well, I will see you guys back here on Thursday. Barry will see you on your channel Friday 5 and Sunday.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, I'll be there definitely. Thanks, Jessica. Appreciate you.
All right. Well, you guys, I hope you enjoyed the show today. I hope you learned something. If you like the show, please hit the like button, leave a comment after the show, and subscribe to my channel if you hadn't already. And y'all have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there, y'all, and see you tomorrow. All right. Bye, y'all.